All right, everybody, welcome back to the final game of day 2 of the SCS Close Qualifier. I'm still Lynx, joined once again, and for the final time tonight, by CDAPS. And CDAPS, what games do we have going on? This is the final round of today.
Yeah,
What are
so
some games
let's
that people
let's
need to be
save
looking out
what's
for?
on the screen that people can read right below me. Let's save that for a little bit longer.
That's
But you know we
later.
got
That's later.
we got Aggro vs Honor. That's going to be on SFCL. That's a really good game. Once again, casted by Jazz and our good friend Kyle Cherish Fernandez. And then we have Didn't Ask versus T3 Savant. That's going to be on the 9-Ball Esports stream. I don't know who's casting on that, but I'm sure that they're going to do great. So if either of those games are a little bit more enticing, you can type !multi into chat and it'll whip up a spiffy link that gets all 3 streams up at once. It's magical. But overall, there's some other games. I'm pulling up the bracket. You got Gatekeepers versus Synthetic. That's going to be a really good game. Pretty much whoever wins that, essentially, I think, punches their ticket. With the way the bracket is setting up right now, if you reach 5 wins, there's only going to be 1 team out of all the 5-win teams that can be cut. So you got like a 80% chance if you hit 5 wins, and hitting it so early, being the first team to hit 5 wins. If you just win a single game tomorrow, then you punch your
Yeah.
ticket, you're good. You're going to be
I mean,
competing for the 3,500.
Gatekeepers is not winning one game tomorrow.
Yeah,
I just don't see a
something will
world where they
happen.
lose all 3 games.
Rexavi's would be punch in the air.
Just
But no, you got Windstorm versus
screeching in the call.
PDHM. That's a really good game, but we wanted to give Windstorm
Ooh,
a
that is a
break
good game.
from the spotlight. I think they've been casted like every single game they've been in, so they get a break. Nemesis versus Wichita Wolves. You got Nemesis coming off of a really hard fought loss against Windstorm, going up against Wichita Wolves, who I think have a little bit of a win streak. You got Project Neo versus Vale. Really good game. You got Slaughterhouse Akara, Didn't Ask T3 Savants, Imperium Ascension, Emergence with a forfeit victory over Revenge Nation, who unfortunately did just disband. Then you have Goofy Goobers versus Toys. But there was one game that we didn't talk about, and it's one of the most infamous games that has happened. It's a rematch of one of the most infamous games that has happened in the last, 3 months?
A couple months,
This
yeah.
is
Couple
the SCL game that really stirred up a lot of controversy on Twitter. Oh, T3 is better. No, Collegiate's better. This is Matt Squared versus Arial Arise. Sure, it's only 3/5 of the OG Demon Slayer squad of Arial Arise, but they're still a good team. I think it's still going to be a great matchup.
Yeah, hopefully at the very least it'll make for an interesting one. We're getting right into it right now. Everyone's in the lobby. R is in chat. The map is Villa, by the way. Didn't mention it earlier. Ariel Arise starting on the attack. Matt Squared starting on the defense. Thank you, Lava, for that one, because I had my game volume turn up, and he entered the lobby and said, it's Villa, and we're starting on attack. So thank you for that, Gavin.
We do love Gavin. Gavin's such a nice
We
young lad.
do love Gavin. I hate the fact that he is tall, but beyond that, I love
Is
Gavin.
it because you're short?
It might be because of the fact that up until very recently, his height was just the inverse of my height. So
You're 5'6", he's 6'5".
well, I was 5'6". I'm 5'7" now. Thank you very much. Don't want to split hairs, but that inch matters.
I'm just not gonna make the joke that I was gonna make, but
Yeah,
that's your ace band.
That was a test.
That's
was a
your
test,
ace
and you
band.
passed.
Wow, I don't think Harrison would have passed.
He would not have.
He would not have passed, but
He would not have.
Thatcher and Ace didn't pass the band phase, and probably neither will Mira and Malusi. Is that
I would.
Mira?
Yeah. There we go.
And
We got one of them.
Malusi? It's either gonna be, if it's not Malusi, it's either Valk or Pulse.
I would expect Valk.
Yeah,
Out
I
of
think
those
Valk.
two,
I think Valk.
Valk's been banned a bit more on Villa in my experience, or at the very least has risen in defender ban rate. But even for this last spot, you couldn't go wrong with
A Cade.
a Cade.
They banned it for Max isn't on Arial Arise anymore. You don't have to ban the Cade.
I mean, like, there's a Maverick in play. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you feel the need to ban the Cade?
Yep.
There's no point. Why would you do that? I mean, in all fairness,
Hey, they know something that we don't. It's
in all fairness, you don't have to worry about the electric clause again. We are already pausing.
Nice.
Come on, man. One AFK. Who's AFK?
Kenji.
Who's AFK?
Kenji went to the
There
bathroom.
it is.
Nice. No, it's Cathedral Catherine G. Catherine G. That's what it is.
Uh,
Catherine G.
What?
That's his name. Catherine G.
Shut up.
Catherine G.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Well, you shut up, man.
You know, that's something I probably should consider, but I'm gonna double down on
No,
this. I'm gonna be
stop that.
shoutcasting. I'm gonna
Really?
say Catherine G.
You're doubling down on this
I'm
one.
doubling down on this one.
You could have made an inappropriate joke earlier, and the
Uh-huh.
thing you're doubling down on is Kathrenji.
Yes. Yeah. I
All right.
decided not to make a inches matter joke, and instead I'm doubling down and tripling down and now quadrupling down on Catherine G.
Well, to each his own, I guess.
Yeah, and we're
I'm just-
disowning Rigel as an observer because he doesn't know how to spell, or it's either he doesn't know how to spell or he's purposely adding W's, which I don't know which is worse.
I was thinking the same thing. I don't know out of which of those I think is worse.
Yeah, I don't know.
In fact, Rigel said the first one was a misspell and the second was for the meme. So it's actually both, which makes it probably the worst possible form it could have been.
Okay,
And
so does it
now,
multiply
I
by
feel
2 or
unclean.
does it square? Does it like multiply by itself? Does it make it twice as bad or x squared bad?
What about Matt squared?
Yep, that's what I was hoping you would pick that up, you know? Speaking of Matt squared, you know, you got if you don't know the background, their origin story, you know, I'm Matt, naturally his name's Matt, and then Flaunson, the other top frag for their team, you know, he's also named Matt.
Yeah,
Therefore,
he's
Matt
a
squared.
CS:GO streamer, isn't he?
Yes. Not Flom, it's Flom.
I know.
I know.
Sometimes you gotta
purple
make a
goose.
joke for yourself. You gotta make a joke for
Yeah,
yourself.
that was a good one. I like that. I always think of Flom when I see his name, but you know he's the Mississippi State man, and an attempted replace Nitro doesn't quite pan out as now one part of Matt squared, Matt square root, so just Matt. He takes about 95% damage, and the horizontal take from Arial Arise is definitely looking quite strong. They've traded about 5 damage on Og for a hell of a lot of map control and a hell of a lot of damage onto Flaunson.
Unfortunately, they weren't able to finish off the kill, but scaring off Flaunson from that position, and whatever position he retakes, he's still on 1 HP, so it'd be better if he were dead, but this is about the second best scenario you could hope for. Even holding that angle hard right inside a trophy, you get a drone on that, that's an easy pre-fire for you if you opt to go for it. But as for that map control that CDAPS was mentioning, it's all on that north side of the map right now, and the furthest is woods on this trophy repel. Fortunately, there is one to his hard right, so might be able to land some pot shots on those Hibana charges if he plays his cards right, but I doubt that'll happen. One player that will need to play his cards right is IMAT, one of the other Mats right now, sitting down below red stairs. I'm not entirely sure if Arial Arise are aware of his position. Smith is holding the flank right outside, and there you go. Lava was aware of it. Caught the Valkyrie up on a flank, takes him down. That's the opening pick in the favor. Arial Arise starting off on the right foot with all this map control.
Yeah, and they also got the first pick. That's a Nitro Cell off the board, but, I mean, out of all the operators to killing the Valk, you know, she can still just sit on her cameras. So, not the worst thing in the world for Matt, as he's still going to have something to do. But with 50 seconds left on the clock, Arial Arise is already starting to knock on the door of sight. They're getting a nice split pressure, opening up a little bit of breaching as they're entering from both Skull Door as well as Study. That means Flaunson's a crucial backbone for the Matt Square defense. Needs to just stay passive and stay alive to deny any post-plant positions coming out. But now as Og goes in on Jetcon, Flaunson will also fall at the hands of Spiff, leaving it all up to Hennessy and Kenji in a 2v5 situation. The smoke throws one canister and is rotating through. Seems to know that there's a player on the breach, but he hits an air jab. I'll go pick up a freebie in lava. On the other side, drops Hennessy off. Arial Arise, a flawless round to a flawless start. Looking quite strong on their map of Villa. 1-0.
Yeah, I was unlucky for Kathrenji, as CDEPS called him. That's the last time we will reference that joke. Yeah, as you said,
You
it was
just
a
made
good
me
start.
so happy.
I just took 5 years off my life by making that joke, so I hope it was worth it. But it was a good start by Arial Arise. I mean, not really much you can complain about in that round overall. Some of the biggest issues would have been, you know, IMAT on the roam, quickly shut down by lava. Good on him. You had Flaunson who got away. He was pretty much not even a factor for the rest of the round because he was either put in a position where he couldn't make an impact, or when he tried to make an impact, you know, the man's on 1 HP. What the hell you expect him to do? And Ariel Rise checking all the necessary boxes, opening up Vault Wall, making the push in through Zombie. Everything was in place, and Matt Squared, they shot back. They just didn't land their shots, unfortunately. So,
Or they got air jabbed before they could shoot.
or they got air jabbed before they could shoot, which I guess they didn't shoot back in that case. So, unfortunate for Kenji that he was the exception to that rule. But now going on a trophy, it's kind of like, what do you say they do different? If they roam, maybe try and sneak a little bit under the radar. Don't get too aggressive. Maybe just rotate back a bit sooner. Don't just rotate by yourself inside a basement with no utility and barely any intel.
Is this shaping up to be a front side take?
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Nope. I saw all the drones inside of Master. I'm like, are they gonna take front side? But
Dude,
then
for half a second, I thought the round was happening, and I got terrified. I was like, are they in the building?
it was a rush.
scary.
It's an Aerial Rise rush. It does seem to be a split take.
I can't be that far behind.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a split take. So you're gonna have woods and lava. You got your hard breacher with some grenades to throw over the wall to remove any anti-breaching measures that Matt Squared might employ over towards that triple master wall, while the rest of Arial Rise are going to be struggling to break down the roam of Flaunson and IMAT over towards 90. Kind of extended into bar, extended a little bit into aviator, but taking down one black eye camera. That's a good step. That's a lot of intel denied. Not necessarily the best spot for that Valp cam, but I mean, Spiff just had his eyes glued to the ceiling, and if IMAT wasn't on that cam right as he was going to peak 90, might not have seen it. And that was Og. He's going to be the first one in, but he's going to be the first one down as Flaunson will separate his head from his shoulders. A beautifully placed shot coming out of the Jaeger will take the man advantage and swing it into Matt Square's favor.
He even had his gun up looking at the right position, but he was just a little bit off the mark in terms of crosshair placement. Spiff will try to run in, cover his tracks, and Dami just doesn't even shoot back on that one. Flaunson picks up a second onto Spiff, and the roam clear dismantled by Matt Squared, all just sitting inside of Aviator and Games. Hennessy's on the floor, so that's cool, but JetCon hears the drone go around the corner, slams Woods, puts him in a montage in lava. Much like Matt Squared or, Kenji and the rest felt last round, he's in a 1v5. Not much he can really do. No frag grenades. Does have diffuser, but JetCon's right around the corner. Might be able to find one or two frags depending on how aggressive Matt Squared get, but beyond that, this round's done and dust. Pretty much overall. He might take some time to help his teammate. Just spots the head of Flaunson. That's a nice one tap. Made me make a weird sound, but IMAT finishes him off.
Oh, the breach was open. I didn't know the breach was open.
It didn't matter.
Yeah,
it just didn't matter.
He shoots the butt of the sledge. MPX is a bit of a pea shooter, but when it has no recoil, you can land just enough shots, even if it's to the lower extremities of a thick boy such as Sledge. I guess not necessarily like super thick. He's a 2-2. Can't really put him on gridlock level for attackers, so but still a really good round coming out of Matt Squared. As I was worried after the first round with such a dominating fashion and how oppressive the initial roam clear and the subsequent extension into sight, the split take of Study in conjunction with the pressure from Skull Door was just so strong on Arial Rise. I was a little bit worried that maybe Matt Squared were just kind of not playing their game and were playing a little bit too passive for their own being. But then they shut me right back up. It was essentially a flawless round. We'll give it a JV 3 stock if you're a fighting game connoisseur. That's when, you don't get the 3 stocks, so you don't have 3 lives left that you start with. You get like 1 hit off on your second life, so it's like essentially perfect. It's like pretty much perfect. You got to exit frag on Flaunson, who was aggressively peeking a staircase. And that was about it. That was the only opening that Matt Squared gave to Arial Rise, and now they're right back in the game. They answered with pretty much just as dominant of a round as Arial Rise started off with.
And the one big factor between those 2 rounds was in the first round, roam game got shut down. One died, other got put to 1 HP and had to rotate back to site. Second round, roam did not get shut down. In fact, the roam flourished. Barely any damage was done to the defense, and they just ran roughshod over all of the attackers, specifically 3 of them. It was Og, Dami, Og, Dami, and Spiff. All were tasked with clearing out those roamers, and none came back alive. So at least so far in the 2 rounds, if the roam was successful, Matt Squared have won. If it's not been successful, or Matt Squared lose, and Arial Rise take the win. Now they're going to Trophy, where it went Arial Rise's favor the last go-around. Doesn't seem to be as aggressive or in your face as it was recently. Flaunson is at least a bit further back, playing inside of Trophy instead of Astro to rotate down the stairs. Now, he's in a safer position, but if he gets pushed, doesn't have the best spot to rotate off. You have to vault over and could easily get caught much quicker than last time, but he'll be proactive about it. Not going to try and take too many chances. He'll fire some shots and rotate back, and now he'll join his team on the bomb site once again. The roam shut down. He's at much higher HP, and it's still a 5v5.
Yeah, he's not one shot anymore unless you count a headshot coming out of an aerial Arise weapon, which definitely lets Flonson feel a lot more confident if he's going to be swinging. He can swing with his chest towards the latter half of the round, especially if he goes back towards main stairs where he once resided just 2 rounds ago, round 1. And yeah, he's actually taking Study, and that's where I'm at also, as both pieces of the roam falling back inside of Study. Understanding that Arial Arise does go for this split take, they also open up a little bit of the wall, so they've done the job of the Arial Arise hard breacher that Woods typically had done. But just like that, with the holes already being opened, the way Matt Squared are going to play around them is a lot more favorable, because, you know, holes do work both ways. Sure, Arial Arise, you know, they have the breach and they have access way into sight via those lines of sight, but that's not really much of a factor, especially when Spiff just goes down at the hands of Jetcon, and they're struggling to clear 90. First pick going into the side of Matt Squared, which historically, you know, there's not enough data to definitively say, oh, whoever got the first pick wins the round, but it has gone that way in the first 2. Don't want to give a generalization. All stats majors are getting a little bit upset right now, but hey, correlation does mean causation.
And on top of the opening pick, I mean, you have so many factors going in the favor of Matt Square right now. Some intel on red stairs. IMAT down below, not shut down, still has that C4 in a prime position to deny the plan. And 2 more toxic babes as the first one goes out by Kenji. Everything's going Matt Squared right now. Even with Woods rotating over to Study Valk, he'll be able to hold that flank and land the push in. Spots Flonson on the prone, so it might just be looking up a bit more. Lava gets 1. Aug's also joining in on the fray, and the C4 goes wide, misses everything. Hennessy will try to solve the damage, but he gets felled soon after he picks up the kill onto Lava. And I guess it wasn't all looking up Matt Squared. Arial Arise just pushed in, killed everyone on the bomb site, and IMAT can't even do anything in that 1v3. They pick up their second round on AVG.
That was unexpected to say the least, but as soon as those toxic babe canisters were no longer a factor, Arial Arise just said, screw it, we're running into sight, and killed everybody. Yeah, that's about the extent of the analysis that I want to break down on that round. You know, very stereotypical stuff coming out of Arial Arise that, well, they pushed backside. They went from Master into Skull Door, and then they just ran in and killed everyone. Really well done. Once again, the Aviator game bomb site seems to be a little bit of a thorn in the side for Matt Square's defense, so much so that they don't want to repeat. They're going to go down to the tertiary bomb site of Dining Room and Kitchen, bringing 5 C4s.
Potentially.
I think it's 5 C4s. That's
protect your bombs from being defused by
nope. Impacts on
knew
JetCon, man.
I knew one would have impacts. I knew one would have impacts.
Unlucky. But a pulse, a pulse with 4 nitros. That's terrifying if Arial Arise go for a top-down clear, which I'd say 95% of teams go for. And indicative of that would be the choice of Lava going onto the sledge. Pretty much in my mind says, yeah, they're going to go upstairs. They're going to try to use 6. I had to count. I don't know why 3 plus 3 was so difficult for me, but 6 breaching charges and a breaching hammer. You know, that's a lot of soft breach potential. So if Lava does fall early on the initial room clear, it's not the end of the world. But then that would also mean that you want Spiff and Aug alive. You need at least, I would say, 4 holes opened up to properly take the bomb site to really filter out all of the power positions that any Matt Squared anchors could be playing inside them. And that is going to be a little bit easier said than done, especially because of the Mute Mozzie combination that's being brought by Kenji and Flonson respectively. There's a lot of drone denial, which means that intel is going to come at a cost of a lot of time and or face checking for the Arial Arise attackers. And that means that if they're going in blind, they're going to feel a little bit less comfortable going towards their either execute or roam clear. And since there's a pulse on the board for Hennessy, Matt Squared isn't going to be going in blind.
And you don't just want Og up top for those breach charges that he's got. You want him for exactly what he's doing right now. With that scanner out, he's able to spot Hennessy through the floor so long as he's on that heartbeat scanner. Now at the same time, he's not exactly immune. He could full well be C4'd by one of the members sitting next to the pulse. In fact, he'll get off his scanner, spray some shots, and land a few onto Og, who is using the Og, fitting his namesake, I guess. I guess that's cool, like we get the combo, but at the same time, he's using the Og, so
Yeah.
that's unfortunate. Also unfortunate, IMAT just whiffed a C4, and Blonson whiffed his shots. Not the GOAT, apparently, as some of you in chat might want to say, or at the least in that round. Woods also finds Kenji soon after that. He's 0-3 so far. Now it's a 5v3. Hennessy with the heartbeat scanner still could make some work happen, but there's no C4s left on the defense. All that's going to do is give intel, which can be useful, but it's not going to matter all that much if you can't capitalize off of it. But IMAT on the roam is able to capitalize off the lack of knowledge from Dami about where his position is. Takes his head clean off, but it's still man advantage for Arial Arise. Time in their hands as well.
Yeah, IMAT still going on this late flank. An attempted wallbang off a yellow ping will do a little bit of damage, more so scaring Spiff than anything. But with one air jab going down, Jetcon does have control of red stairs and can establish a nice crossfire with IMAT if they want to go for a retake upstairs. But IMAT's just going to be rotating more towards site, trying to stop any Astro stairs pressure or a potential highway drop. But as just there's so much soft reach and so much going on inside of site, Og and Woods are right outside of it. They have all the necessary pieces to go towards their execute. With only 30 seconds left on the clock, they're still going to start feeling the pressure in the C4s that are still left alive. Actually, none of them. Only bullets as IMAT takes out Og will become very impactful.
Hennessy's on 25. It's still winnable for Matt Squared, especially in a position like this. But if just one shot takes down Hennessy, it might swing in Arial Arise's favor, as they've already shown. They can move in at the last second and get the kills necessary, but not in this case, or at the very least, Spiff can't. Lava will try with the SMG-11. Woods on the entry as well, has the diffuser, but IMAT finds that,
That's an
and he
ace.
gets the ace overall. All with the MPX, none with the C4. Arial Arise not up to snuff to counter one of the Mats and Matt Squared and what he's bringing out so far.
Sheesh. That's why the team's named after him, I guess. An ace for IMAT. Well done. Just running all over the map, causing so much mayhem in so many different places that he should probably be in an Allstate commercial at this point. So, yeah. A round single-handedly won by the University of Akron Star will now tie up the game at 2-2, and now we'll be going towards Trophy and Statuary, a bomb site that was previously won in quite a dominating fashion by the Matt Squared roster. Arial Arise are definitely, they have their work cut out for them. They were not able to properly allocate enough resources towards their roam clear. They got absolutely demolished by the combination of Flonson and IMAT. Both Mats coming out into full effect, picking up a couple of frags and just systematically eliminating everybody on Arial Arise that entered from the south side of the building. And then that really left both Lava and Woods in a really bad spot where they were just locked up inside a master in a 2v5, and it just wasn't a fun position to be in, which hopefully for Arial Arise's sake will not it won't recur again, or won't occur again. Man, my grammar is very bad.
It won't occur again?
Yeah.
It won't reoccur.
Yes. I doubled down. I said
5 seconds left.
it's not negative. I did a double negative there. It was bad.
Attackers' objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
It's fine. It's fine. It's not fine. Well, I guess it is fine. The way
Devin
but
Crater
the way
is mauling at me right now. He always gets really upset when I say something like that. I do like a double negative or say,
Dude, you know
he
what's-
could care less. Triggers him.
Yeah, you know what's fun? My dad was an English major. That'll be important in a sec. Where I cast in my basement computer room. On the opposite side of the wall is my dad watching TV. If he hears me make a grammatical mistake, the next time I walk in, he'll say, "Oh, by the way, it's this." And then he'll correct me. No words of affirmation. No, you sounded good. Be like, you messed up that phrase. Love my dad. Love my dad, by the way. But you know, not the best thing at all times. Either way, my personal issues aside, I can't transition off that one. Either way, I'm at some 50 HP.
Unlucky.
It's a Matt Squared roam. You know what this entails. They're peeking angles. They're starting to fall back. Blonson will either get a kill here or get smoked. Probably the first one with how this has been going so far.
Yeah, he definitely has a lot of confidence, and he hasn't taken a whole lot of damage, unlike IMAT. There's actually JetCon all the way from Sandwich to potentially be the one to get the frags, but Lava picking up IMAT, finishing off what he did earlier, will also be thrown in conjunction with a whole flurry of frags, 3 in total for Arial Rise as they go up 5-2 on the man advantage. But Lava, Og, and Woods all don't have too much HP to their name, and make that none for Og, but Spiff taking down Hennessy will actually be a trade as a headshot meets a body shot, and JetCon's in a clutch situation 1v3.
Bomb located by attackers.
Members of Arial Rise are on low HP, so it's not undoable for a JetCon. With how many shots raining through the wall, and now he's on exactly 1 HP. It went from possible to impossible in a matter of seconds. Arial Rise gotta be happy they picked up that trophy defense because, well, previously they'd only won AVG. Now winning another bomb site, you've guaranteed yourself at the very least a 3-3 half on Villa. You can lose this next round. You will be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine.
You don't really play a whole lot of chess, do you?
Well, only playing against Harrison, who's been playing for
Yeah.
like 18 years, and I've only played about 18 games.
Have you ever used the analysis board that like it has like the little black and white bar that like shows like who's
No,
quote unquote winning?
that's chess.com, isn't it?
Yeah, it has it
Yeah,
on
no,
any
yeah,
like
no, I played
analysis
on-
board.
I played on-
It has it
I
on
played on-
like chess too, but you have to like go back in
Ah.
the game and like quote unquote watch the
Keep-
VOD.
Keep in mind, I've only played 18 games. I barely know how chess works, let alone the website on which I play.
Yeah, so pretty much that went from like
Protect your bombs
the
from
bar
being defused by
was like, let's say Arial Arise is black and Matt Squared is white just because they're defending first. It was like 70-30, and then as soon as JetCon went to 1 HP, it just went to like 99. Like the bar just shifted all the way down. It was not a very good position for JetCon to be in, and that's why he wasn't even able to confirm a single kill. But now with Arial Arise hitting the three round mark, they've confirmed at least a split half, which is definitely good on Villa. Villa is a map that is really in an interesting place. It really depends on which teams are playing. You can either see attacker-sided 4-2, you can see a 3-3 or a 4-2 defense. None of them are really surprising. So with Arial Rise already locking up at least a half split, they're in a pretty good place. Sure, they definitely want the 4-2 split, and they'll feel a lot more comfortable. But for Matt Square, this is definitely a lot more of a must-win for them, as opposed to Arial Rise, who can just kind of coast through the half, even though I doubt that they're going to want to.
And I think it's safe to say, this is the final round on the defense. If we're gonna make any broad sweeping judgments about Matt Squared's defense or Arial Rise's attacks overall, it's gonna be now. Matt Squared's defensive wins have been their wins have been contingent on whether or not their aggressive play works, whether it's the specific roam itself, or whether it's them trying to retake up top and, kind of dashing up a stair, putting bullets into one, then rotating back down, that style of play. If that gets punished by Arial Arise, the attack usually ends up winning the round, and countering the extension was exactly what happened last time, and Matt Squared were not able to recover because of how many resources they put in and how swiftly it was dealt with by Arial Arise. Right now, it's not going nearly as quickly, and it's not nearly as explosive. There's some tracers flying in, certainly putting pressure onto Flaunson, but he's still sitting inside a vault. It's just Lava passively, or I guess actively holding an angle onto him, with just pressuring him and trying to stop him from rotating out. IMAT not feeling as much pressure, with the holes being opened up and Spiff just around the corner with Lava holding a crossfire. Right about 10 seconds, it's going to transition with Dami getting the opening pick onto the Jaeger. It's already transitioning.
Yeah, now it's the mute of IMAT trying his very best, and he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. They know exactly where he is. They're about to swing him with confidence. Dami going for an attempted wall bang, and IMAT will not flinch whatsoever, holding strong on his angle, trying to waste as much time as possible. But now as Og just walks in, he can't quite see the head, and actually, oh, Dami got that kill. Dami stole the kill from Og. But 2 entries off of your flank watch will warmly be welcomed by any entry frag. They don't have to do their job as much, and Dami could definitely be on the Ash if he so desired, but Og and Spiff are just a little bit more suited for the role, as Dami's pretty good with the ARX, as evident by the 2 kills that he got for relatively no HP. That's a full roam clear coming out of Arial Arise's attack, with not a single point of damage done to them so far, as now they have about 45 seconds to make their execute, get their breach inside a Master opened up. But there's a body inside a Master, and he goes by the name of JetCon, whose location will now be confirmed. He's gonna have to fall back onto concrete.
Yeah, if you got a quick kill there, that would have been great, but that's probably not the smartest position to be playing in, especially with 30 seconds left. And Well, you're surrounded by windows. It's not exactly... It's usually not gonna end well for you, but there you go. Jetcon will get a kill into Lava behind. Hennessy picks up one, and Jetcon on the floor. Woods picks up Hennessy. It looked like it might transition back into Matt Squared's favor, but as you can see on your screen, that clearly didn't happen. It's Kenji in a 1v3, but there's no air jabs right here. He might catch the Hibana off guard. The intel's giving him it as well, but he instead will throw a smoke grenade? I mean, I guess it's damaging Woods a hell of a lot, but he'll have to rotate off, not able to find a kill. Probably the safer option, all things considered. We'll say did look a bit curious. He'll toss one more. Try to smoke out the player behind the shield, but he's not even looking the right way. Og rotated off just like Kenji thought he would, but Kenji wasn't looking the right way. And as a result, Arial Arise end the half 4-2 on Villa attack.
Yeah, looking quite good while doing so. It was a fool me once, shame on you. I'm not going to get fooled again kind of moment with Arial Arise on their trophy statuary attacks, where the aggressive roam absolutely demolished Arial Arise, but then it didn't work once again. So besides that initial highly aggressive roam that was employed by Matt Squared on Trophy and the ace from IMAT, those are the only 2 rounds that they were able to successfully defend the bomb site. And now you're going up against a bunch of players on Arial Arise who are feeling pretty confident in playing really good Siege and understanding exactly how Matt Squared are playing, are now going to be on the defensive where they have a lot more intel. They don't have as much pressure on them. It might be a difficult hill to climb for Matt Squared.
Now, keep in mind, though, the last time Arial Arise and Matt Squared faced off, Arial Arise thought they were going to win it.
Yep.
Then Matt Squared employed the brilliant strategy of not using their drones.
Yep, face check everything, catch them off guard.
Face check everything, and as a result, Arial Arise, they're at 2 minutes, 2:30 left, 2 minutes left, they're looking at the floor. They're trying to shoot drones, and the Matt Squared were like, no, we don't even have our 6 key bound.
We don't do that here.
Let alone our cam key. They just ran in and killed Arial Arise. They were looking at the floor, looking for drones. So if Matt Squared do that again, we might see go Arial Arise.
See, Og is looking for drones right now.
Dude, yeah, he's looking, but there's nary a drone to be found. Only one found, and that was from Flanson. But in all seriousness, not using it as a joke, Matt Squared very aggressive. They like to take map control extremely quickly because, well, they like to face check, and they aren't exactly the most active with their drone usage. But it does mean Arial Arise can get caught off guard, and even if they remember the last time they played Matt Squared, or they've VOD reviewed them since then, it can still take you off guard, and Lava could very well find himself in a precarious position with hardly any time off the clock if he's not careful.
Yeah, the attempted pre-fire will be met with more bullets going back his way and no damage done to the attackers, only damage taken in by the German man that Lava is playing. Now, 45 seconds, that's all it took for the roam clear to occur by Matt Squared, taking shape of what Arial Arise was doing on this backside push, this northern bound push that's going to go through 90 and end over towards a skull door execute. Now, Jetcon falls at the hands of a C4. That's the danger of allowing a player such as Og to play down below. He has Vault Cams, he has intel, and he will be dropping the Sledge, who can be recovered and will be forced to stay on about 20 HP as a little bit of drone work goes out as Dami patiently licks his chops and is awaiting for some people to swing towards 90 so he can let the 81 do the talking.
It's a bit risky for him to play in front of that window. I mean, you even saw Hennessy's, tracers ringing through right all around his body. Managed not to take any damage in that. Now he's able to rotate back into sight. Not even have to worry about the Hibana pressuring anymore with his position inside here. Lava probably should have a little bit more worry in his body with how aggressively he's been pre-firing every angle, and there you go. Goes for a peek out zombie doorway, gets put on the floor. Thankfully, he's alive, can get revived, and in fact, he wasted both concussions from Flanson. They blew up right next to the down body, and of course they know Lava's there because he's put on the floor. So now, that utility will not be able to be utilized to find players inside the site, as it could have been if Lava had not been down. So, saving grace of that, not the best because he's on 1 HP, but try to find the positives where negatives usually rear their head. On top of that, he also has a C4 in his pocket, so him surviving is huge for that. If Matt Squared get in a position where Kenji can try to get the plant down. With 40 seconds left, Spiff still holding top main, Og hard right on top of the study hatch, and seemingly not much room for Matt Squared to move in given the utility and placement left. It's not looking great for Matt Squared. Now with the opening pick, it's even worse.
Yeah, and Jetcon getting body shotted, that was the last laugh of Og with that Nitro Cell downing him. It made him very easy pickings for the backside of the round. Spiff picking up
15
Hennessy as
seconds
well
to go.
is just making the situation even worse. This main stairs in study extension is just so difficult to break down for Matt Square, and they have no map control. Spiff picking up his triple kill, another C4 to finish off, as Woods picks up the final piece of the puzzle. A flawless round for Arial Arise, as it seems like Matt Squared, they couldn't defend Aviator Games, but they're also struggling with attacking it.
Yeah, the moment JetCon got C4'd, obviously, understandably, put them on the back foot a bit. They were a bit worried about pushing because they didn't know whether Og was going to, try and run up Astro Stairs, go for a flank, if there was another C4 incoming. On top of that, Lava just ducking out, sending a couple bullets down range, then popping back in also didn't exactly fill their minds with caution. They were pretty worried the whole time about what was going to happen. So as a result of that constant pressure and the fear of that constant pressure, they were just stuck inside a 90. They were stuck outside a zombie and weren't able to get much room overall in the round. And because of their one-dimensional push
Attackers
as
need to
well,
locate and
no
defuse
pressure
as
on
many
main,
bombs as they
no
can.
pressure on study until the final 30 seconds, and all it was Hennessy taking up the standard position that a Hibana takes up eventually. There really wasn't anything they could do with 5 members of Arial Arise still left after Lava got picked back up. Moving into Trophy, you've got Og on the pulse, who will likely rotate down below and hang out down there. It was a trouble for Matt Squared when that C4 got in their face before and one of their members was put down. If there's a concentrated roam effort down below and Matt Squared aren't able to deal with it, we're in a similar situation to last time, and that resulted in them stalling out. So whether or not they take out Og will likely be one of the big factors. Whether Matt Squared potentially get the first attacking win, or we see a repeat of history and Arial Arise move to match point.
Yeah, the pulse is even more impactful on this bomb side, I would say, because they can just gather so much intel, especially because Trophy is one of the bomb sites that you can justify a front side take as opposed to a backside. For Aviator, it's not really advised, it's not as strong, but for Arial Arise to know exactly where Matt Squared is coming from, they can adjust their defense accordingly and really just be versatile in how they're holding angles. So much so, to that extent, IMAT's actually just gonna catch people off guard. There goes Og. My entire argument, thesis statement, my entire 50-page paper on why the pulse was being good just got dumpstered immediately.
Dami needs to start praying to whatever god he believes in that he was not just dumpstered on that pre-fire. He had a Z-ping and everything, but thankfully for him, Flaunton was just a millimeter too far to the left, and that pre-fire just probably put him deaf in his right ear instead of taking his head off. Good on him, he can rotate back. Unfortunate that Og got caught out, but with Lava getting that refrag onto IMAT, who was at least the forefront of the push coming out from Matt Squared, who was trying to do what I said previously, get in as quickly as possible, put them on the back foot, and force Arial Arise in a position to recover. Him being taken down, now Matt Squared have to move back, take things much slower, and try and adapt and go for a much more standard push that takes more time to set up with the less bodies that they have. Lava getting that refrag was huge, and if he had died there, it'd probably be wraps for them. But since they've all rotated back, you still have 2 C4s in the pocket, and Matt Squared right now just pushing angles. It's looking like an Arial Arise round once again, unless Matt Squared come up with some kind of argument to refute that.
I think at this point, whoever gets this next pick probably will win the round. And unfortunately for Matt Squared, they weren't quite able to pin down enough damage onto Lava. The hot hand on Arial Arise's defense, whipping out the bandit and attempted C4 did not bear fruit, didn't really have any intel to go towards that, but wasted utility is wasted utility for the side of Matt Squared, and that's one less thing to worry about as they eventually have to go towards this execute. They're gathering intel and notice that, hey, there's 2 people inside of Trophy. That means Statue's going to be relatively easy, so much so that Kenji's just making his way in, face checking away, trying to burn out as many toxic babe canisters as he can, as now the plant will go forward. They have the cross held by Hennessy. That's what the Hibana's X-Kairos pellets were used for. Make sure that you can't swing this door. It doesn't matter if you can swing the door if you just get fried while you're holding the angle. A beautiful shot from Woods will make things a lot worse for Matt Square, but now it's a trade back and forth. What's picking up another one onto Kenji. There goes the Nomad, as now it's a 3v1 situation for the lonesome JetCon. There's a nade that goes in and gets two.
Lord.
Beautiful play from JetCon coming through. The second play, I think he wins this. Only 20 seconds left on the clock, but no, Woods is even better.
He's
Wonderful
so good.
peek. Luke, what you doing, man?
So good.
Bomb diffuser disabled by defenders.
Oh, that was a hey, watch this play right there.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna make a play. I'm going back to site. And that's exactly what he did.
He did go back to site.
He did go back to site,
the bomb.
and he killed everyone. SMG-11, that shot on the pixel towards the breach was really nice. And then yeah. No, Rigel, you don't even... we have to let the Pepsi bit die. It can only be used when Dami does something insane. That was a Woods moment. That was a Luke Woods moment.
We need. All right.
Yeah, exactly. See, Woods knows.
Dude,
Dami off of Pepsi's retired. It peaked in RSA.
Words. I'm glad he brought that up. This is an intervention time. This is time for an intervention, not just for Rigel, but for all the individuals at home.
Defenders, protect your bomb.
Sometimes
Defused by attackers.
Sometimes there's a bit that bears so much fruit that it's hard to believe it could ever not be funny. At Crater Thoughts being a great example.
Yeah.
How could that bit not be funny?
That's exactly what my head went to.
We're making fun. Dude, we're making fun of Devin getting added for job posts that he's wildly unqualified for. Not saying Devin's untalented, but he doesn't speak French. But unfortunately for all of us, bits have to get retired. Dami off of Pepsi is one of those bits that, much to my disappointment and much to the greater disappointment of the T3 community, it's been used. It's been used for all it's worth, and now it has to be put to rest so it can ferment and maybe be used at a later date. But for now, fortunately, it must be given some time to rest. And that's all I have to say about that.
It's the testament of, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, then it was truly yours. We love the bit. We need to let it go.
I just opened up the SCS chat and it's 80% Crow.
Yeah, Harrison is having a Harrison takeover chat moment. Yeah.
I'm at down. Round's over.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah. There's a first pick going. Yep. I'm at a beautiful opening frag onto Lava, removing the Malusi, and once again, I will say the hot hand of Arial Arise. That it's pretty much the top frag of the lobby, besides IMAT. People such as Kenji are struggling just a little bit, and Flonson's not up to his normal self. Kenji is a new pickup for the Matt Squared roster. They used to have, I believe it was Smack from KSU. So he's still trying to find himself, but just kind of picking up somebody on short notice might be hurting Matt Squared just a little bit here, as now they do have the man advantage, and they're going for a horizontal take, so they don't really need to worry about all the vertical pressure being employed by Arial Arise. Mainly Dami right now. He has intel with his Vault cams as well as a Nitro cell that he could open up a cheeky angle on the floor, or even kind of open up the head of Flonson, I guess, as the Zofia will fall. Yeah, I kind of don't have another point now, because he really caught me off guard with that one.
Dead.
Yeah.
See you on the other side.
Good for Arial Arise. I mean, they took your breath away. They also took Flonson's. Now it's a 4v4. AUG has also so far been unread on the top of back stairs. There's a couple members pushing over from living room that might just get caught off guard if he's not been droned out. He has a C4 as well, so the longer he sits there and he'll start rotating it back, he can utilize it. But he's been caught off by IMAT, who is unfortunately not down. It's not clear. IMAT is now taken down. Two members of Arial Arise all by himself. Woods looking like he might be the third. He'll have to use a C4 to try and get any kills, and it won't even go off before he's taken down. And it's all left up to Spiff. Takes down JetCon, but it's a 1v3 as one of his teammates fell just before that. Spots the head for a second, but both rotate off too quickly. And now with Hennessy getting the plant down, Spiff is... To use a cliche, he's trapped between a rock and a hard place, because no other metaphor is coming to me. He'll use an impact grenade to try to distract, but they know exactly where he is. With a flash grenade coming in, he's pinned down. They don't really, or Spiff doesn't really have a way to rotate off of this unless he manages to smoke either Kenji or somebody holding that angle.
Kenji got his first kill!
And Kenji gets his first kill, boys. Let's go!
Eat up, Kenji.
Eat up,
Eat up.
Kenji.
Kathrinji. Eat up.
I'm leaving the VMix call up now.
Good. I will solo cast.
I literally started that round about retiring bits.
Yep.
And then you say Kathrinji.
Uh-huh.
It's like, did you zone out looking at like
I'm sorry,
man.
I was watching Crow type in chat because he was getting really hyped about the Woods clutch.
I gotta take a drink. Kathrinji.
What are you drinking?
Water.
Good job.
Drink of champions.
It is a drink of champions. And now, Arial Arise, going to the site that Matt Squared feared on both attacking front as well as the defensive side. Aviator Games, with the game on the line. Will it be a reverse sweep potentially, where Matt Squared just has to be absolutely perfect? They're under so much pressure that if they drop a single round, it's wraps, and probably wraps on their closed quals career, as it would take nearly a miracle for either of these teams if they lose to get in. So definitely not looking too good on this side, but if anything is indicative of what's to come, it could have been last round where Matt Squared actually did a very strong attack. Their roam clear looked good. They were able to get pick after pick. They were trading properly, and their post-plant positions were insanely impactful. So impactful that even Kenji was able to pick up an absolute freebie. So no longer was he 007. You know, he wasn't James Bond. He was for like about a round. He was a British spy, but now 1-1-7.
Connor. I have a series of questions for you.
Yes, I will answer all of them.
They all concern IMAT.
Okay.
What happened to IMAT on the entry in the first round of this half?
He died.
What happened to IMAT the second round?
He
on the entry?
died.
What happened to IMAT in the most recent round?
He lived.
And what did he do when he lived?
Killed everyone.
So what can we establish as a potential trend for the past 3 rounds in relation to Arial wins and Matt Squared wins?
I don't know. I wish you could see my face in VMix. I was doing the crow shit-eating grin.
To drive to whatever stupid, unimportant state you live in.
You live in Illinois.
And I will end you. That's just not where I live.
You live in Illinois. It starts with an I. I know it's Indiana.
There's a couple states that start with the letter I.
What other ones besides Illinois and Indiana?
Iowa.
Oh, yeah. Corn. Potato.
I cannot believe I had that whole thing and then you just stopped talking. Anyway.
Wait a second. Oh my gosh. Do you know who Kenji is? It's Japanadian. Japanadian's Kenji.
Nah.
Yeah, it is.
It is?
It is. No,
nah, you're lying.
Man.
I know Ferme just confirmed it is, but nah.
Man, it's confirmed. Man.
I am so happy he only has 1 kill. Always saying that, oh, I made you. Ah, yeah, opening pick, Lava, take him down. Take down Kenji. Take him down a peg. Thinking he made me. Just because I'm in a 10-man server. Og takes down IMAT soon after, so it looks like we might see that same pattern rearing its ugly head. Spiff finishes off Jet. Con is just Tennessee and Flaunt left 2v5. IMAT's already dropping the GG in chat before the game has even ended. And with Flaunt's into 1v5, even though it might have seemed premature, probably was the correct move in the long run. There we go. Og finishes him off. It's a 7-3 or a 7-2. I forgot which one it was. It was a 7-3. Forgot it for a sec. For Arial Arise, they did not lose to Matt Squared, and the T3 community can rest easy knowing that Collegiate did not take down another Titan this day.
Unfortunate. You know, I think Collegiate and T3 just need to like have a handshake. There's been so much hostility recently. I don't like it.
But Connor, the hostility is funny.
It is
funny.
It's pretty funny from like an outsider perspective. But you know, there's people like actually getting upset about things like, I don't know. There's just egos in both communities, but you know, we're not going to talk about that. Whatever.
Whatever.
This game was over a little bit fast.
That's a conversation for another time. It was over fast.
Do we know any results? I'm going to refresh my page.
You just saw this
T3 Savant slammed Didn't Ask. Vale slammed Neo. Wichita Wolves slammed Nemesis. Imperium slammed Ascension. Toys beat Goofy Goobers. Those were all like 7-2, 7-3, so that's why I was saying slammed.
Keep talking. I'm pulling up the other stream.
So Gatekeeper Synthetic hasn't finished yet. Windstorm PDHM hasn't finished yet. Aggro Honor hasn't finished yet. Slaughterhouse Akara is still awaiting. I think Aggro Honor was on FSCL. It's either on FSCL or 9ball. It should have been on one of the other streams.
Aggro versus Honor. 9ball is not live right now, so I guess they just did not do a game. SFCL is doing Aggro versus Honor, and Ad is playing right now though, so I can't tell you.
I think
what it's at. If you're curious, it is an ad for. I actually don't know what this is. It's an ad for an NBA DoorDash partnership.
Hey Carter.
What?
Guess what?
Is the game over?
We're done. That's it.
We are. I mean, I'm trying.
We're done.
I guess, did Aggro versus Honor finish in the time that ad ended? I feel like I've been.
No, I was just saying that we're done here and we should probably raid them.
I mean, yeah, I guess we could. I don't know what's going on there, though. I think it's on pause or something. Either way, we are done. As Connor said, we're just chilling right now. We're saying goodbye. I am Lynx, joined by Seed Apps. And remember, there's still one more day of quals left.
Tomorrow.
So go watch. I will not be casting. I want to be honest. I don't know who's casting. Oh, wait, no, it's Crow and Jay's Wells, isn't it? I think it is.
I'm
like
no
98% sure.
Yeah.
Either way,
I'm gonna be on FSCL with the Kegleneck.
I knew that actually.
Yes.
I knew you'd be on.
I don't know who's on 9ball, and I think it is Crow and Jay's Wills.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure. Either way, that's all from us. Go check out SFCLs. They have Aggro and Honor still on, and make sure you keep following SCS_esports on Twitter for any updates relating to quals. And then once SCS Season 5 starts, the league itself. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a good night. We'll see you later.